Hi guys, and welcome to Masters Personal Training. So today's video is why sugar isn't the only thing jacking up your glucose levels. So what many people don't realize is that you can be on a low carb diet and still read high glucose in your blood. And that's because there's several other hormones that actually elevate your blood glucose, and they do this for different reasons. So you've got things like testosterone, you've got IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor, and you've got things like cortisol and growth hormone. So, and then you've got glucagon. So you've got 5 hormones that actually elevate insulin. Now, glucagon is something that you would produce when you eat glucose. Okay, so you eat sugars and glucagon goes up, and that pushes your sugars up. And but the big one I want to bring your attention to, and I'm going to talk more about this in depth as far as the actual hormone goes, is cortisol. Because for a lot of people, they have a dysregulatory issue when it comes to controlling their cortisol levels and pushing your sugars up. So the point of the video isn't really about cortisol, but it's about why even if you're on a low carb diet, you can still have elevated glucose in your blood. So an example of this would be if you have poor sleep or you have sleep quality issues. And what happens is that you go to bed and you wake up and you feel unrested. So what you should always do is learn to manage or measure your blood sugars so that you actually know what's going on with your blood sugars. So as an example, you measure your blood sugars before you go to bed and they read whatever number they are. And then you read them again when you wake up. Now, if your sugars have gone down from PM to AM, that's a good thing. They should have gone down because you should have been using some glucose while you've been asleep. You know, just because you go to bed and you become unconscious doesn't mean that your body's not working. It's still using its systems. You're still lying on your reserves. And that's why a lot of times you wake up and you feel lighter or thinner when you wake up in the morning. But if your sugars go up in the middle of the night, and you'd only really know that if you're testing, then it's very likely due to the fact that you're suffering from something called reactive hypoglycemia. Now, this is where your sugar levels drop in the middle of the night, and the body goes into emergency mode, it goes into panic and goes, oh, my sugars are way too low, I need to bring those up. So your body secretes cortisol. Cortisol breaks down muscle tissue from protein, so it breaks down breaks down proteins from muscle tissue, and your glucose levels go up because it's breaking down the protein to turn into sugar. Now, the problem with that is that while you're producing that cortisol to do that job, is that then disrupts your sleep hormone, so melatonin, and you don't necessarily come out of your sleep, you may do, but you'll probably wake up feeling unrested because you've not been having any deep sleep. So if this is happening, then you've got to get it under control. So what you've got to do is you've got to kind of look at nutrition and look at diet, and sometimes it's what you're eating, sometimes it's not what you're not eating that is the problem. Okay, I'm not going to give you too much information because I don't want to take you down the wrong path without the right information. So first tip is buy a glucometer. Second thing is go and measure your sugars morning and night, start writing them down and see if it correlates with good night's sleep, bad night's sleep. For me, I would classify as a good night's sleep. You go to bed at a reasonable time and you wake up and you feel rested and energized. If you don't feel rested and energized, chances are you've had disrupted sleep. So remember, sugar isn't the only thing that can be jacking up your glucose levels. There's other hormones in place, and even if you are on a low carb diet, you still may read high glucose. So the only way to be sure is if you're assessing your blood sugars. For me, I would be aiming below 7 into the 6s. So 6, if you're using the same readout that I use, you want to be in the 6 mark. All right. To get low, you want to be kind of in the high 4s, but in the 5s. All right. If you're dropping down to the 3s, you're probably too low on blood sugar. Just to warn you. Okay. See you soon.